What's up, Copy Squad? It's your boy Kyle Milligan coming to you live from Delray Beach, Florida. And today I want to talk about this one copywriting lesson. Skip this one copywriting lesson and you will always make exactly $0. So today's lesson brought to you in part by another writer. One of the things that's really cool about this guy is he has his career is very similar to mine at the beginning, and he didn't have the same benefits and I guess like quote privileges I had, yet he makes way more money than me now. So what do I mean by the same benefits or privileges? Well, I had the luck. So essentially, whenever you start writing copy, you should anticipate that 1 out of 4 of your sales promotions or like your big sales letters or whatever actually hits and becomes like a big hit. Well, I had a series of hits actually like right out of the gate when I first started writing copy that caught fire right away. Among them, like hottest IPO, Trump bonus checks are the big 2 that everybody seems to know. And I got an opportunity to write for Robert Kiyosaki for his Rich Dad Retirement Masterclass. So I had a lot of really big opportunities, and you know, two out of those really panned out in a big way for me. And this guy, not exactly the same sort of circumstances. What was similar about our careers starting out, and I'm going to tell you with one mistake that once you learn this lesson, you'll know exactly why you're making $0 if it is the case. One of the things that he has done in his early part of his career was he wrote like 12 sales letters or something. He wrote an enormous amount of copy, and I think maybe 1 or 2 of them like really caught on. So let's say 2 out of 12, right? And again, he, like I say, he didn't have the exact same privileges or luck that I had coming out of the gate, firing off and like having like 2 catch fire and become controls and run for over a year. However, out of like those 12 he put out, 2 were really solid and really dug in there, like really sunk in, right? So those 2 actually have been running for quite some time, and they're still running. And as a result of like the first 10 or however many promos he put out, he has accumulated enough, like even his base hits, right? Maybe they weren't monster hits, but he had base hits, right? He made a couple bucks off of every like attempt. So they weren't complete. Like you don't put out something and usually get 0 sales. You usually get some sales, maybe not as many as you want. But yeah, so accumulation of like those first 10 attempts plus the 2 that caught fire, right? So 12 attempts. 12 attempts. I don't know if I've had 12 in my career, but he's just been prolific at putting out copy. Now, this dude makes more money than me and is still writing more copy than me. And I think this is the one copywriting lesson that I want to convey today. Skip this one copywriting lesson and you'll always make exactly $0. And the copywriting lesson is always be writing. Always be creating is probably a better term. I think creating works more for the broader audience. For instance, one of the reasons that I'm able to do well on this YouTube channel, for instance, is I keep always perpetually creating new content and new videos. And I've seen like the reason that this dude is doing so much better than me, even though we started around the same. Actually, I started a little bit before him. He's doing way better than me because he's basically doubled my output. So it's the output. Like we cannot control whether or not we produce hits. To a certain extent, we can try our hardest to write really good copy, but we cannot control whether or not it's a, game changer that we write, right? The market kind of decides that for us. But this dude is constantly testing ideas, and he doesn't really do a lot of pitching and sharing of the ideas before he just starts writing them, right? And I was thinking about that today because I'm in that phase, in between phase, where I'm looking for the next project, and I'm having one of those moments where it's like, well, I have these ideas, I don't know if they're going to work, and every time I pitch, I get to hear more reasons why my ideas won't work. And I came to the resolution today, like I just need to write this up and produce it and get it out. And that was one of those like weird realizations that I knew all along, but then it's like, it's one of those things that's super easy to say and then very difficult to execute. Like, what should I write? Is this idea going to work? Should I spend a month trying to research and create this if it might not work? Well, the truth is, if it doesn't work, it'll probably catch a couple sales and I'll make some money. I won't make any money. I will make exactly $0 if I am not writing something and trying to produce something. So I think that was like a huge thing. And I think what's crazy is, even though that's sort of my message, like part of it is like you always need to be writing and practicing and writing and practicing. It even happens like I freeze up, like, well, I don't want to put out something, like I feel like I'm under the microscope with the YouTube channel, right? What if I write a bomb? What if I write a flop? and everyone like thinks, oh my god, he's a fraud. He wrote a bad promotion. He didn't sell $1 million in his first attempt or whatever. And that kind of thing, kind of gets under your skin and sticks in your brain. Most of you follow me know about my book. It's called Take Their Money. It's available at kylethewriter.com/book. And I just want to again reiterate that if you want to succeed with copywriting, or let's say if you want to know for sure that you're going to fail, don't write anything. I think that's the big lesson here, is that you have to be producing. You can't necessarily control the outcomes, but you can control the inputs. And that means it might be difficult to say, I'm going to write 5 blockbusters this year, right? But maybe that's out of your hands, but you can control that you are going to write 10 promos or something like that. Not 10 promos, you're going to get 10 clients, or like even like how much you earn if it's on a royalty rate. May not, that might be out of your hands. But perhaps it's not out of your hands so much. Maybe what you do is say, I'm going to make $10,000, and you have to write 30 promos or something like that. I don't know, until one catches fire and it makes you all the money that you want to make. Man, so I think one of the things that this guy who's outpacing me, out-earning me, and out-producing me, one of the lessons that he's kind of taught me is you got to just write it. Don't ask for too much permission. Like, sure, share your idea. Share your idea. It's cool to get feedback, but don't. If you want to write it, write it. If you want to write it, all you're going to hear from people is something like why it may or may not work. I don't really think that the big idea where your jaw just drops and you go, that's a great idea. I don't know if I've ever seen that happen. So some of the dumbest things make the most money. Things like, the best day in stock history, the day the world stood still, like just the most plain Jane things, right? Those are the headlines that weirdly make a gajillion dollars. So the point I'm trying to make is you can never know for sure. I don't think there is that golden light bulb. Maybe you feel a golden light bulb, but I don't think there's like the general public are like, oh, why didn't I think of that idea? Maybe yes, maybe no, but for the most part, I think you just need to be writing, and it does come down to like just if it's something that vibrates with you, like if it gets you hyped up and gets you excited to write, you kind of gotta just write it, and you gotta just attack that angle and see what happens. You gotta test it, and that's one of the things I think one of the strengths that has helped me with my career is people keep telling me like that will never work, and I'm like, well, let's just test it. Like I want to know it won't work, and I think somewhere along the line I got a little self-conscious or something, or just slowed down. I got distracted by YouTube. Something slowed down and allowed other people to skyrocket past me who were just writing. Okay? So, if you want to make a lot of money, you got to write a lot of content. You can think about that in terms of like, look at musicians, dude. Look at Ariana Grande, right? So, I'm not a fan of pretty much any of her songs, but there are people, I think she's had she's like everything she puts out is a hit now, right? And I think Taylor Swift is probably a better example. I really don't like Taylor Swift's music, but like I think back when she was country, she cultivated this audience, right? She had a few hits, and now she can pretty much put out anything and it'll make money. And that's not to say that you as a writer can put out anything and it'll make money, but it is about volume. It's about like just keep producing, just keep making content, and in your case, you'll be writing promos, you'll be writing emails, you'll be writing sales letters, and that's how you make more money. It doesn't have to be a smash hit every single song, right? Does that make sense? Might be like a weird, wacky, out there analogy, but I do think content creation and writing and music as an industry are so similar when you think about like collaborations. Like if you go on someone else's podcast and they come on yours, like if Eminem does a song with 50 Cent, like, and it's just like they both collect money off that, like the music industry I think is a great example of like a lot of people like use the gym, like flexing your muscles makes you stronger, etc., etc. I think the music industry is like the perfect analogy for like what we do as writers and as content creators and stuff like that. But yeah, a little bit rambly, but I just want to, push that you just got to write. And there's going to be lots of opportunities for self-doubt. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to tell you that idea probably won't work, or I don't agree with you. And a lot of times they're going to be wrong. A lot of times you're going to be wrong. But some of the time you're going to be right. And those times you're going to make a bunch of money, right? So I think that's all I've got for today, Copy Squad. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you found this useful. Check out my book. It's called Take Their Money. Peace out, Copy Squad.